Hey guys, it's Crispy. I'm here to review Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. It is the most highly anticipated MCU movie. I know a lot of people are excited for it. There's people talking about it with me for the past couple months, just telling me they couldn't wait to see it and stuff. And me, I'm fine with it. I'm not really all that crazy about it, but I still do want to see it. I am somewhat. I'm lying. I'm somewhat anticipating that. I anticipated the Black Panther movie, and after seeing it, I'm just gonna let you know I don't think it's better than the first one. There was just a charm from Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan that I don't think could be repeated. But they did try something different here, and that's not to say that this movie is completely wasteful whatsoever. Like there are really good aspects in this movie, and I think there's some things that they even do better in this one than they did in the first one. For example, like the sci-fi elements that they did in the last one was just there and then slightly just brushed off. Like it wasn't really like dug deep into. And in this movie, it's pretty much mostly all sci-fi, and that's kind of where I come to the breaking point of like fun. Like I'm in a crossroads with whether I can recommend this to people or not, because it's gonna depend on whether you're going in to watch a straight up superhero movie, or if you just want to go in and watch a fun comic book movie and watch great fight sequences, well directed shots, and lighting and great costumes, great performances from like Winston Duke and Angela Bassett, Letitia Wright, freaking like that guy that played Namor, man, he was so good in this movie. He just had this presence on screen. Like he just chewed up the scenery when he was in there. It was so great, so chill, so intimidating. And yeah, just great action all throughout. But unfortunately for some people, if you're gonna come in to want to watch a superhero movie, you might leave a little disappointed because it's more of a sci-fi flick. I think, after watching this, because the story really revolves around Wakanda and them trying to keep themselves afloat after T'Challa died. Um, they're trying to just keep themselves afloat, and at the same time they have world powers looking at them, trying to recoup from the loss of losing their king and thinking they're weak. We can go in and take their vibranium. So they attempt to do that, and then in the heat of all that stuff going on, then the Atlanteans show up, and they're not called Atlanteans in this movie. They're called the Talocan, and it's because what the producers decided to, or the writers decided to do in this movie, is to incorporate the Atlanteans from the comic books, uh, and they wanted to put South American culture into the characters of the Atlanteans and call them the Talocan. And Namor is called like Cuckoo something. I forgot. Like it's a lot of cuckoo kalaka like type shit. Sorry if that's racist. I don't mean to be. I mean it's Mayans. They've been dead for like fucking hundreds of years, but they're out there somewhere. I'm sure still. Uh, but yeah, it's like a bunch of that shit. Uh, and that's probably not gonna be great for the comic book geeks. Like, well, that fucking the Atlantean. Shut the fuck up. All right, it's a movie. All right, and I hate when people read the original material and they don't like how it's not faithful to the original material when they watch a movie. It's a fucking movie, and it's an adaptation for the most important part. Like the most important thing is that it's an adaptation. Like if I read a book and then I know a movie's coming out, like sure I might have criticisms if the narrative that they use in the movie isn't as good as the book in some case, but if they do something different, I don't blame them for them, because why the fuck would I want to watch the same thing that I've bought in a different format? I wouldn't mind a different perspective, especially if it's not from the original writer or the original creator in any way. I appreciate a different perspective, even though I might not enjoy it as much as the original material. But anyway, um, the pros on it, like I said, great fight sequences, great performances from the actors, nice pacing in some points, and yeah, beautiful scenery, really great clothing. Like I like the wardrobes and the clothes that they wear in this movie. It's awesome. Like I was just looking at it, I was like, this is fucking beautiful. These people are so stylish. Uh, and then I'm gonna go to the negative parts of it. It's an MCU movie, so it's the same shit that you watch in every other MCU movie, where there are characters that are from different movies or TV shows from the Disney Plus shows, and they show up, and then it just feels like the same shit that you watch at home or that's already been out for like 3 years. And I'm kind of tired of Marvel movies kind of blending in together so much. You know, we had it kind of a little bit back in like the 2016s, where it'd be like, oh, look, all these characters are together. That's really cool. And that was a really big marketing scheme for us back then, because it's not usual, you know? And then they went buck fucking wild with Infinity War and Endgame. And those ended up being one of the most successful movies ever made. And now they're just doing it every single time. And I think we're giving less of a shit as much of these movies been coming out. You know, we don't fucking care that, oh, this person's here now. Great. Like, what is this, a Doctor Strange movie or a fucking Hulk movie? Like, what is going on? And they kind of do that here as well. Um, and you know, it is what it is, but it doesn't, like, thank goodness it doesn't really borrow itself too much. Like, you do have some characters from other sources, but it doesn't really do anything to it. The other thing is that there are motivations from certain characters that don't make any sense for me, and sometimes that slowed down the movie for me a little bit. The other thing is there's some pacing issues to this. Like I said, like the motivations of some characters just kind of fucked with the pacing a little bit. It's a little too long for me. I've heard people critique this movie already and say that the movie just flew by for them. This movie's over 2.5 hours long. And I don't know whether if it would have been cut short, it would have made it better. Because to be honest with you, the way that the narrative kind of went with this movie, I didn't really care for it that much. So, you know, it's just I'm kind of like torn apart from this movie, because there's things that I really liked from it, and there's things that I just didn't really care for. And in the end of the day, this movie kind of ended up being just okay. Like, I guess in the border of just being a little less than okay, but it hit a sweet spot for me, with the science, with the science fiction. So, you know, I'm gonna leave it at that. I give this movie a 3 out of 5 bacon strips. It's fast food, and I think that that's literally what it is. Is like, you just go in and you go out and you have a good time. This is not the MCU movie that's going to reinvigorate your hope for superhero films. I don't think. You know, I didn't leave this movie thinking like, wow, I'm so much looking forward to what's gonna happen next. I was just like, all right, this is another fun superhero or fun comic book movie. And it might disappoint some people. It might not. You know, you might enjoy it a lot more than the first one, but you know, I didn't personally. I thought it was just okay. Tell me how you thought about the movie. Give me some criticisms on how I reviewed this movie. If I did a bad job, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe. Love you guys.